Hello, welcome to the Revolt Endurance Championship. This will be round 3 today. I am Doug, and here with me should be Hong. Hello, Hong.
Hello,
Ah,
hello. Sorry, everybody.
we will be racing Game Room 2 today. So, we are on the countdown. Players are going for the laps already. The best laps will be visible now, and Nikon is the one with it so far. He is on provisional pole, but of course we saw Frost, who wasn't having sufficient acceleration, and he will be going for the third lap actually. He's not gonna be finishing this one. Lopesca on the other hand does a 38.5, gains a few spots, and Frost will be coming around this time around as well. And he will be having a decent one, 37.145, his second. Not quite in the lead though. Nick still holding that.
Ooh, Nick gonna be wrecking. He had an amazing lap from the looks of things. He's sending out a couple honks, and yeah, more and more people starting to occupy that 37.1xx. I think we just saw another enter the crew, Sting, and he is now leading.
Yes, Sting with a quite good lap. Frost will be finishing. No, he's not finishing this one either. They have
looking good.
shown abilities to run good laps, and Nick will be improving
There it
to
is.
provisional pole again. Alma is still at a 37.7, and he did improve a bit, I think, but it's a quite tight fight between Kila, Shigekix, Ashen, and Ganesh for
And
13th.
speaking of Shigeki, we actually, well, I noticed that he had wrecked right in that green room right at the start of the race, and hate when that happens because then you gotta still finish the whole lap, but you already know it's in the garbage. Still leading, it looks like the only 36.9. Actually, he started that. This was a new best lap for him on the previous lap. I think he just beat his own previous provisional best lap.
And the time has expired, so players can still finish their laps. Lagier still went for it, Powerade still went for it. Lopesca still was able to start it. Frosten behind, not so much. So everyone in the back of the pack has finished. And Ashen will be coming across the line to not improve.
Ooh.
Ganesh will be starting from the back. They are having a bit of difficulty with this. Oh wow. And we are ready to go. And they are racing.
Wow.
So Nick and Frost got a bit of a jump on Sting with that. And Fam is closer to Sting than Sting is to the top 2. Let's see how the U-turns work out, because that will be an important section of the track. Frost and Nick are fairly close, and Fam also quite close to Sting. And behind them, Kila and G already falling a bit behind, but they are quite close to each other. I think G had some issues, and Kila also lost time, consequently.
Yeah, super clean start right there. It was very cool to watch. It did result in minor gaps, but nothing too crazy.
And Kila with a big crash, so he's gonna lose about 5 positions. And in the front of the field, Fam is close to Stingux. We have seen them being a bit close in the first lap, but Fam is visibly faster, I'd say.
Ooh, Laggy Rock actually going to be the first to fail that jump through the guardrails, and he was who I was questioning if he was going to take the safe jump. I was looking at who was taking the jumps, safe or risky, and Ama was actually the only one I saw taking the safe jump that I had mentioned earlier. Everyone else, yep.
Fam goes by staying for third. Sorry to interrupt your
No.
jump monologue, but Fam did go by, and I don't know if Sting will have any way to fight back. Kiki is also right behind, and Frost and Nikun are also close for the first. And we talked about how he could be a threat for Frost and Fam, but he needs to go by Sting early, and he's gonna be crashing instead of going by. He tried to look for a way around, and it couldn't quite work out. On the other hand, Frost is chasing Nick.
Yeah, first and second definitely still within view. Not so much for Kiki, but for Famous and Sting, they're constantly in view. And Frost passes Nick.
Frost is in the lead. Fam is still not too far back. In fact, only 60 meters behind Frost, or around that. So, as long as he doesn't lose sight of the top two, it should be good, but it should also try to go around Nick as soon as possible. But he's gonna turn around, he's gonna spin in the vent, and that's gonna cost him 2 spots and about 40 meters. That's really bad for his hopes in this race. Especially if Frost... Oh! Fam is gonna hit the guardrail! So that's gonna be another huge loss for him. He's down in position number 9, 40 meters behind Kilaborus, and Nick and Frost will be the ones fighting for the lead. Fam has to have a huge recovery drive here, and this is the same situation as he had in Titanic. And Frost and Nick were the leading duo there too, but Nick is looking more likely to take the first place here, and in fact he does do that.
He did eventually get out of it, but not without a heavy cost. In the meantime, G has passed up Erzu. During that whole event, he was approaching, and now has a pretty nice lead over Erzu, who does have the Toyeka this time. Is not going to be bringing the trusty Cougar. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Kiki. Ooh, Kiki wrecks on the back of that and falls back a bit farther, falls behind Kilobaris. And Artsu as well, I think.
Now they are down in 7th and 8th.
Well,
and Frost losing a spot to Sting.
Yeah, exactly. They jumped off the ramp, and it looked like Frost, he might tap something, but he kind of flew off, veered off to the left, and Sting with a very straightforward pass.
And in fact, he's only 8 meters behind Nick, so he's definitely in this fight for first, and he does run a personal best, which is a 37-1, not even that one of the best lap of the whole race. Just as I say that, Kiki does a 37-0. It's still not that much better, but it's definitely getting stronger and stronger.
There's a bit of a gap between Sting and Frost for second, third, but Sting only a couple meters behind Nick. He looks like he's been closing the gap. We'll see if he goes for an overtake.
Yeah, Sting is definitely aggressive when it comes to those. We've seen it in the previous 2 races. And he could be pushing Nick in these U-turns. That's definitely a way to pass on this track.
Wow.
Nick going for the wallbang there, and Sting is managing to block him. Nick's line definitely negatively affected him, and Frost must have had a crash behind them.
Oh, you're right.
He lost like 20 meters.
Absolutely. So Sting, the new leader of the race. I don't know if he's led a race up until this point.
Cameron's a personal best of a 37-145, but this is definitely not a strong track for him, which is not something expected. He did have the record as Kiki goes by Erzu for 5th, but yeah, Fam did have the world record, and that does not mean much when it comes to consistency, which might have affected him in qualifying, might be affecting him here.
In the back of the pack, 10th, 11th, Lampert and Powerade really, Powerade is putting the pressure on Lampert. Almost passes him in the same way that we saw Sting pass Nick on the previous lap. And Nick seems to have wrecked while I was saying that.
Yeah, he hit the inside wall and then basically bounced back into Frost, who helped launch him, and now Sting with a crash, so the top 3 is getting back together.
Wow!
And also a fight between Lopesca and Shigekix for 12. Lopesca going under the table, I'm not sure that's any helpful. And it's going on the left of the guardrails. Shigekix is gonna hit those. Powerade is also gonna lose a spot there. So Lopez
Whoa.
up to. Oh, what happened at the front?
Yes, Nick has wrecked on at the exact same area where he was passed by Sting. I say wrecked. Frost might have had some influence in that, but either way, regardless of the conditions that led to it, he is now 50 meters behind Frost, and it's getting down to single digits sometimes, especially during those U-turns. But doing really well for himself, all things considered, able to keep Frost within an arm's length.
Kiki losing 2 spots with a crash.
Yeah.
As I was gonna switch to him because he looked as close as Frost's thing, but Kiki was having the pace to actually close in.
But he is an 8 looking for 7, so definitely some progress.
Last time we talked about him, he was already up to 7th, and that was quite a while ago.
Awkward, okay.
Oh, but he's now really close to Kiki. Kiki messed up the left turn. I think he jumped up a bit. Pam is not gonna be able to live with that, so Kiki manages to stay 7th. The two of them might be fighting each other and they don't want to get bogged down with the tires, so with the mistakes, so both of them gain a spot.
Right. And yeah, Kiki and Famous, 2 top drivers. They both got pointed out in the pre-show, and they are in tow, passing 2. If they can get around Kila, yep.
Yeah, Kiki is attacking Kila Frost with a personal best lap, which puts him on 2nd on the best lap leaderboard. Kiki is really looking for the way around, but Fam is also right there, so he has to look in the bottom half of his screen, which Fam is taking up, and he's also trying to look for the way around Kila. This is not gonna be easy for him, especially since the U-turn section is coming up. Maybe he can take the inside line. No, Fam is gonna be the one with that, and he doesn't over-under. Gets 2 places actually, and he's now up to 6.
Oh
Kiki
my!
will want to follow, and he can take the inside line here, and he's ahead of Kila as well now.
Fam is just different.
But Kiki is not far from Fam still. He's gonna jump up a bit. It takes the turn a bit differently. It seems like he has a different line there. He does have the best of the race, so I don't know if it is the same in that, but
it is rare to see this kind of event unfolding in front of us. 4 racers tightly grouped in this single file line, all taking super similar lines with maybe some differences. But Ertzu seems to have nicked the corner and is going to spin out. And it does eventually cut the pack size down to 3.
Yeah, it's now between Fam, Kiki, and Kila. Kila, who takes the inside at the same spot Kiki overtook him. So now it's Fam, Kila, Kiki, and Kiki is gonna be taking the inside into the door turn, and Kila is gonna getting pushed into the wall there, flipping and losing 40 meters. So Kiki was a bit aggressive there. He really wanted to.
Yep.
Have a look at the leaders.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. This time, a lap ago, we saw Sting at 13 meters at a place that he was this lap 7 meters away. So Frost seems to have halved that lead. But, these things come and go. We'll see if he's able to keep building on that lead. It does look like he might have dropped a little bit this lap. So it seems to be kind of like a give and take situation. We're approaching lap 30. 73 laps total, so very, very far from being over. Right. Ooh, and in the U-turns, in the game room, Kiki going to be passing up Famous on the very first U-turn. Famous bumps the corner and spins out entirely, which gives Kiki a bit of cushioning, although Kiki seems to have tapped the corner himself, and that lead, whatever small, has just about vanished. 2 meters between the two of them, and the race is on.
Oh, it's quite close, and Fam seems a bit faster in this section. He gained a bit. Kiki is running a bit wide, so Fam could be looking at it in the U-turn. No, he's not gonna be able to go by there. Kiki is gonna have a way better ramp turn again. It seems like he has that really well practiced. He figured out the line to gain a few meters even. And maybe Fam knows that line too, he just isn't able to execute. But maybe... I has the world record, so... Oh,
Right.
but Kiki runs the best lap of the race despite losing a meter or two in that first section I've seen, so...
Frost seems to have had some better lines recently, bringing it down to 5 meters in the straight.
And Fam got by Kiki again.
There it is. This is an exchange that has been happening quite a lot between the two of them. Frost quite close to Sting. He does seem to have been closing the gap in recent times. But closing the gap and overtaking are two very different things. They've got Lopesca ahead of them. But Lopesca is battling with Power 8. Lopesca doesn't want to let them by. We'll see. Okay, and he does let him go by in the more open area.
Yeah, he almost didn't realize that there were two players this close together.
Yeah.
He almost closed the door on Frost and then realized, oh yeah, there's two of them.
Right.
But they are Frost and Sting still 2 meters apart, and Sting with a mistake.
Ooh.
Gonna be losing quite a bit of time here.
Out of nowhere. And when I looked at the track preview, when I saw how close they took that green room, I thought that would be the area that people wreck, but we really haven't seen much of that at all.
14 points on Famous based on positions alone, although Fam does have a better best lap now, so that is a bit of a way to get him back, but that's only 2 points of a difference, so I think Frost would still gain 12 points, and that's very crucial in terms of the championship. Of course, Fam might have this removed, because only the best 7 count, but we'll see.
Right.
He now has more pressure on him to not perform badly in any of the races, and he can't really miss any if he has two more like this. If his pace has been on point, he's not on the best lap. But then Kiki, reaching Famous basically, is going for the very left of the start-finish line, trying to get the best lap of the race. He is trying to gain points with that, I think. It looked very much like that to me. And he's gonna be looking to overtake Fam sometime soon. And we also see G from their cam.
Laggy Rock and Lampert have been battling. Lampert seems to have closed the gap pretty well. And we've also got Shigeki and Ashen were very close. But in almost no time at all, Ashen made a series of wrecks that ended up in about 100-meter gap. So that really goes to show Famous did the same thing.
And Fam is really in need of overtaking a few players. And he's getting much closer to see. Yeah, it might not have been wreck. Oh, Fam with the crash now though. Might have been distracting, might not have been, but he definitely will be getting out of the way now. And Fam has to be, on one hand, getting closer to G again, but on a possibly more important note, Kiki is right behind him again.
Fighting with Kiki, that's been the tone of the game for Famous. But yeah, Famous has made a very stealthy kind of return to the upper positions. We haven't talked much about Kila Boris, but doing pretty well for himself. G seems to have wrecked. Definitely got passed by both Kiki and Famous right there. It looked like a wreck to me.
Yeah, Kiki was really lucky not to get lag crash there in the van, because they were entering it side by side with G. Kiki going for the best lap of the race, he went for the left side finish. I think he got helped by the lag push there. I'm not quite sure.
No way.
But it might have helped him a bit. I wonder what he'll say. We won't be interviewing him probably, because he doesn't really want to be interviewed, but he crashes in the U-turn. And she is now 50 meters ahead of him.
Milliseconds compared to their last best lap. But then instantly wrecking the U-turn, Lopesca actually almost blocks the doorway, but does get out of the way for Kiki.
And G is not losing too much ground to Fam. In fact, Fam hits the inside of the guardrail, which is gonna cost him a bit. And G is about 3 meters behind. So G could be looking for an overtake, and with a bit of lag, Fam could be also scared as well. Whatever. So
Yep.
they will be heading into the U-turns fairly soon, which is possibly the best overtaking spot. But G is gonna be crashing, so that means that he's rather fighting Kiki now. And Kiki could be looking in the U-turn actually, and he will go by.
It's a good time to do it. It's a good time to do it. Whether it was a tap or whatever, G definitely got, outturned there, and it's gonna be falling into 6th for the moment.
And Frost with the second best lap of the race.
Yep.
Which means that he would get 4 points for that. Fam would get 3 for his current one. So Frost with about 14 points of a gain on Fam in this race as we stand. There's 23 laps left, which is still quite a bit.
G tapping the U-turn again, and now Kilobaris is only 5 meters, maybe 15 in the straight away from G, and G is 75 from Kiki.
G has another lap cut ahead. This will be Lopesca again because G has made a mistake. Poor Lopesca. Hopefully he doesn't get scared and run into the wall again. But also hopefully he doesn't tell up G. Oh, he's gonna be possibly in the way. He's gonna get out, but Kila is gonna crash into him. And the fight for 13th in the making between Ashen and Shigekix.
Okay, now that was something I thought about mentioning, was that despite that 100-meter gap between Shigeki and Ashen has a lot of endurance race experience, and I would expect him, in the long run, to be able to stay competitive in this battle, and indeed he has.
Sting got way closer to Frost than he was.
I don't know where it came from, but suddenly Frost has had about 100 meters shaved off of his lead on Stingox.
I wonder if he was going for best laps because that would have meant him risking, and maybe that's why he crashed. And Kiki is gonna overtake Fam for 4th in the meantime.
Wow.
So that battle is still going despite the fact that we saw it was over for a bit. But both Frost and Fam struggling at the same time, the championship leaders. It would be really interesting to see a 3rd race winner, I will say that much. But Frost will be trying his best and putting every effort into fighting Stingox off here, because this could be an important race points-wise for him.
Ashen passing up Shigeki almost wrecking in the guardrail jump, does do a cool 360 in the air and lands, but not without falling back into 14th. Lampert did seem to have passed Laggy Rock momentarily for the single digits, 9th place, but Laggy Rock has claimed it back for the moment.
It did look like Sting lost a bit there.
I would agree with that. They
are also gonna lap Ashen and Shigeki soon, who are also fighting, so this could be interesting. The case of the lap traffic.
Famous still very close behind Kiki. Kilobaris seems to have fallen behind. He might have gotten close to G. I do remember Kilobaris being in 7th.
Fam could be going for it in the U-turn here. He's really close and he's gonna be getting that overtake down. But wow. Kiki has his turn off and down, not this time. Fam is gonna stay ahead, but Kiki is really close still. So
Ashen, we gotta look at first place. Ashen, it's a frostbitten sandwich right now. Shigeki passed back up Ashen, and Sting trying to pass 2. Frost needs to pass 1.
Ashen is gonna let Stingox by. Frost is gonna be getting by Shigeki next. Shigekix will try his best to let them by without compromising his own position here. And Kiki and Fam also in a bit of a fight in the meantime, but Fam is gonna stay ahead for the
Woo!
time being.
My God, Kiki pushing Famous out of the way, and then Famous doing the same right back. That was a quick position swap. Sting still in those single digits against Frost. They haven't passed Shigeki, and Shigeki 50 meters on Ashen now. So that lap traffic definitely playing into their race.
Bit. And Fam with a possible crash in the meantime, but Sting and Frost are quite close, so let's keep focused on the late fight because we only have 14 laps to go. And these two could be deciding the race here. Any overtake could be the final one of the race. 14 laps on this track is quite long. In fact, more than, I think around 10 minutes actually. But 10 minutes might not be enough for another overtake if one of them makes a big mistake. So if Sting manages to get by here, that could change the race. And we'll also have to keep an eye on. Oh, actually, G and Kila also changing.
Yes, at the ramp after the U-turns, G had to flip his car over. Kilo was able to pass. We also had, if I can, I am looking at Frost and Sting. We had Lampert and Laggy Rock still battling. Lampert 0 meters behind Laggy Rock multiple occasions, but now has fallen about 50 meters behind. 40, 50. Frost and Sting still in those single digits.
Yeah, this is a quite consistent gap at this point, and they will have to keep running this for 8 minutes. If they don't, one of them will lose out big time because they've both been able to run it consistently, although one of them crashing could shake the other as well. Sting doing the U-turns quite well there. He almost hits the wall, but actually manages to pull up that turn quite well too.
Yeah.
They're gonna have another lap car that will be Amma. Amma is nice and will get out of the way. So they will. They have 11 laps to go, and they are separated by 5 meters for first place. Kila and G are also in the fight, but they are not for first. First place means 5 points over second.
Yes.
So this is crucial for the point fight as well. Frost in second in the championship, but Fam is only 5th. So if he wins this race, he has a good chance of taking the lead. And he really will want that. But Sting, who's not a Toyota driver by default, he's driving the car right now because he feels forced, he is competitive and he wants to win races. He wants to be up there and he's only 5 meters away from that first position. He could be taking that any time here, and he probably wants that. He wants to prove that he cannot only drive on Hummer and he cannot only race with pigs, because if I was him, I would be bothered by the fact that people probably think that he can only do well with pickups.
So true. So true. I mean, people do view Sting as a fierce racer, but some, I absolutely agree, view him in that light. And he's dispelling that as we speak. Now, Kilobaris and G passing and passing and passing. Currently, it is G with the lead over Kila. Kila has had some weird line stuff, but anyways, we've also got Ashen has passed up Shigeki X, now has a 100-meter lead over him. So those are some of the closer races. Lampert and Laggy Rock. Lampert still trying to close that gap on Laggy Rock.
5 meters, they're really consistent, both Frost and Sting. And Kiki has reached Nick in the meantime for third. So Kiki could be gaining important points here as well, but a third would not be that strong. And Fam is not far either, so that could also have points implications. And in fact, I believe Fam is gonna go by Kiki, so that's important enough to look at. Yes, Fam is 6 meters ahead of him. And This is gonna mean about 2 points for him, I believe. But Sting is right on the rear bumper of
It's
Frost.
so close. Yeah.
So
it's
any
so
slower
close.
turn could be an opportunity. In fact, we've seen overtakes into the door, but I don't think he's close enough for that. He's gonna have a possibly bit better final turn. I'm not sure he gained that. But this section will be the most important part. He's losing a bit of ground. It's important that he stays close for the U-turns. He could be going for a dive on Basel. He ran a personal best
Yes.
lap of 36.981. He's not close enough this time around, but he's gonna keep up the spread, I'd say. There's gonna be 6 laps when they cross the line.
Whoa. Okay, it showed a pass for me for a second, but you're absolutely right. Still super close. Now, Fam has passed Nick, but Nick took it back. I don't know if Nick wrecked or if this has just been a steady gain onto Nick, but Nick, Famous, and Kiki all super close as well. Wow.
Yes, less than 6 left to go for the leading duo. Sting gets a lot closer in that first U-turn, but he's not gonna be able to go for the pass in the second one. They have 5 different lines in that left turn over the ramp. Sting is gonna be really close here,
God.
and he's gonna have the inside line, but there's not able to block. There's gonna be 5 to go as they cross. As you said.
Yes, Nick failing one of those U-turns has been passed by Famous and Kiki. He's only 3 meters behind Kiki.
Yeah, Frost and Sting getting into the U-turn section again. Sting managed to get a bit closer again. This is the same situation for him as it was with Kilo last time, and they are heading into lap traffic. Lopesca getting out of the way very nicely.
Yeah.
That's really commendable.
Yes.
And they are closing in on the end of the race. Gonna have 4 laps this time around, which is about 2.5 minutes, a bit more than that. And they have another lap car ahead.
Woo!
In fact, Ganesh as well.
Oh my god.
But the one car I'm seeing is a Vito Yeka. I'm not sure who that belongs to. We'll see when they get a bit closer. I think that's Lampard. And
yeah.
Lampard is in a fight with Lager.
He is.
So this could also affect Frost. Frost really doesn't want this to be decided like that. Sting lost a bit of ground this time around.
Maybe a bit of a distraction from all these lapping cars that they're going to have to overtake. It is definitely anxiety inducing to think you have to do the best line and pass these guys.
Oh, I thought Sting would crash a bit there.
So.
It didn't quite do that. He's getting really close to the walls. He's putting everything he can into these lines. And they have 300 meters over third place, so they can do that. Lager and Lampard are almost side by side as Frost and Sting reach them. Frost will need to find a way around or somehow back Sting to slow down a bit, but I don't know how he will be able to do that because Sting is looking for every opportunity.
Lampard and Laggy Rock refuse. Nope, Lampard's gonna give. Wow. But will Laggy Rock?
1.5, a bit more than 1.5 laps to go. Lager will be the next one to get out of the way, but he's afraid because Lampard is behind them.
Lampard has wrecked. There you go.
Oh, Lampard has wrecked. So Lager lets them by. Lager might be getting 9th place at the end of the race, it seems. But the two of them will have 1 lap to go in 1 turn. And they have been this close for quite a few laps now. And there haven't been any position changes. But Sting could be giving everything he can. I wouldn't be surprised by a dive when Frost will be preparing for that. This will be a mind game heading into the U-turn. Shigeki's barely getting out of the way there. Almost messing up Sting's race right there. And Sting could be going for the wall dive bomb, and he's gonna be pushing Frost. It's not gonna be enough. He's not gonna push here. And there aren't any big overtaking opportunities left.
Wow.
But maybe Sting could do a dive bomb into the final turn.
Ooh.
This is where we are right now. He's not gonna be attempting that too. Well, so Frost will be winning this race after an insane fight for many laps. Behind them, Fam managed to fight off Kiki and Nick and disappeared from the radar right now.
There's gotta be disappointment on Sting's side, but at the same time, Wow, what I mean, talking about putting the pressure on him. So we do have those best laps down in the bottom left as well that you can check out. Sting, also he was 1 millisecond behind Nick for third best lap time. Wow, yeah, super close battle. And important to point out that Famous actually with the 37 and is going to be in, I think that's the fifth best lap time. So I think he may get a point for that, right? He'll get like 1 point, but is not going to be racking in the best lap points like he did on the previous two tracks where he got 4 points and 6 points.
And then they begin the final lap here, and Shigekix is ahead of them. Now, I think this might have been hard to take for possibly both of them, but especially Stingag. The way Shigekix slid back into the track.
Right into Sting. Yeah, we were actually talking about that you had lost that 100-meter lead, and I just read in chat that there was a repo that caused it.
Yes. So I got one crash while trying to get a lap, but it was after I did the 938, which ended up mattering a lot. I'm really happy with that lap. Then I got one crash, which put me at about 80. And then I believe I got a small crash, which might have been put me to like 60, 50. But after that, on the big zigzag left-right, which is like turn, I don't know, like 3, Ama was just repoing out of like nowhere. He put him exactly on my line, and I ran into him, and I basically crashed into him. And right there, I basically lost all the lead that I had to Sting. And then the last 20 laps was just painful.
Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.